Hello and welcome to another Cuz Bad Guys Tactical Breakdown. In this breakdown we are going to go over the Night Models Batman Miniatures game Jarvis Tetch, otherwise known as the Mad Hatter. This is one of my favorite bad guys for Batman, not because he's a fighter or anything, but because he's witty, because I really like the dynamics between Batman and his rogue gallery, because some of them are bruisers, but then other guys like the Mad Hatter are totally screw with your mind kind of guys, and that is exactly what the Mad Hatter is. I also love him in comic books like The Secret Six. Super awesome, and on the team he plays very, very well, and we'll go over that and all of the strategies that I use with him at the end of the video. So let's go ahead and dive right on into his character card. So this is Jarvis Tetch, alias Mad Hatter. He is a leader for the Wonderland gang, so can only be taken in a Wonderland crew and has to be taken as the leader. He is also on the list to be taken in the Secret Six, and we'll go over that later. He has a gun, which is amazing. It is a Cal 60 gun. It has a damage of triple blood, rate of fire 1, ammo 3. It's a firearm, so wounds on a 2+. Is short range, so can only be shot inside of 20 centimeters, and it has the push special rule. So push is if you hit somebody with it, just damage them. You shoot them, damage them. You don't need to roll a crit or anything. You automatically push them or move the model centimeters equal to what you rolled on your collateral dice, which is awesome. You don't have to roll a crit or anything. It just automatically happens. And push is also directly away from the Mad Hatter. So if you push someone and they're up against a wall, that can damage them if you're shooting them off of an objective. Like if they're standing on an objective and you shoot them, it can push them off of the objective and make sure that you're getting points instead of your opponent. So let's go on to his stats. So he is willpower 8. Willpower 8 on this guy is a little ridiculous. He is never going to be wanting for counters. When I first got this guy and I saw that, I thought it was crazy, and then the Green Arrow and Flash expansion came out, and Mad Hatter can be on the Secret Six, and the Secret Six have teamwork too for the entire crew. So all of those extra counters that the Mad Hatter has, he can give out to other people in the Secret Six, and we'll go over that at the end of the video. He is strength 5+, so 5+ is pretty terrible, but he is a little guy, not supposed to be running up and punching people, so strength 5 is just fine. He is movement 3, attack 3, defense 3, and endurance 6. So movement 3 is pretty good, and that'll go into his personal traits because he has dodge. Not bad. He also suffers a little bit from another personal trait, which is small, but we'll go over that later. But movement 3, not too bad on him. Attack 3 and defense 3. These are both low. They're like henchman stats, but this is a little guy. He's supposed to be witty instead of being like really strong. So it kind of makes sense that he has these stats. So he's getting hit on 3s and he's being blocked on 3s, but you should never be punching with him in close combat. You should just be shooting and then being trixy, which we'll go over. And then endurance 6. Endurance 6 is also pretty terrible, but he is a small guy, supposed to be pretty small, low endurance, not to be able to take a hit. So you've got to be careful with him. Make sure that he doesn't get pounced on by like Batman or somebody. Just protect him a little and he will totally make your crew do great things. So let's go on into his personal traits. His first personal trait is going to be dodge. So I've already touched on this a bit. Dodge is so he can dodge bullets. So with his movement 3, if he has a movement counter, he can dodge a bullet or a batarang or something on a 3 or less, which is super awesome, especially for him because you don't want him in close combat, so he's essentially just going to get shot at. Dodge really helps him. The next personal trait is going to be Handyman. Handyman lets you manipulate objects without spending a movement counter, which is great. So if he's low on an ammo, he can run up to an ammo crate and not spend anything and refill one ammo. He could do the same thing for Titan, which is great. He can also pick up loot counters without having to spend movement. It's super awesome. Really good stuff. His next personal trait is going to be Mastermind. So Mastermind is one of my personal favorites because I love going first in the Batman game, and that's exactly what Mastermind helps you do. It gives you an extra counter to be able to put in the bag to see who gets the initiative for the turn. Mastermind is one of my favorites. It's so good, and being able to take him in a Wonderland crew and in the Secret Six, Mastermind totally helps. And then his two detrimental personal traits. So he has Small. Small means that instead of being movement 10, he's movement 8. So he's running around at 16 centimeters when he spends a move in a special to run instead of 20, which he's going to be not getting anywhere very quickly, but he's a little guy. It makes sense fluff-wise. Should have the Small trait. Small also makes it so if you're behind cover and getting a ping roll, you get a +1 to the ping. So again, another thing to help him from getting shot at, hiding behind stuff, you get really good blocks. His other bad personal trait is Weak. So Weak is for every single damage that you take, you lose a willpower. So this guy loses willpower really, really fast. As soon as he takes a hit, he essentially checks out and doesn't want to be doing stuff anymore. So take care of this guy, make sure he doesn't get any damage on him, and he'll do really well for you. But as soon as you take 3 or 4 damage, he is essentially not going to work anymore. And then let's go on to his special traits. So his first special trait, which is another thing that keeps him safe, is Charm. And that is, whenever this character becomes the target of a melee attack, the attacker must pass a willpower roll or the attack automatically fails. This is great. So it keeps people from running up to him and just being able to plow into him. So you don't really need to worry about henchmen unless somebody rolls really super well. But you do need to keep him away from Batman, away from leaders, because leaders get to re-roll failed willpower checks. So you want to make sure that he is away from those guys from your enemy's crew, so he doesn't get attacked in close combat. His next special trait, which is great, is the Mind Control Device. It costs 3 special to be able to use, and it's once per round. A character with this trait may choose an enemy model within its line of sight and no further than 20 centimeters away. The target immediately suffers the Hypnotize effect. If the target fails the willpower roll, gain 1 victory point. So not only is this farther range than Poison Ivy's Hypnotize, because hers is 10 and this one's 20, but on top of that, if you hypnotize the person, you get a victory point, which victory points are the things that make you win games in Batman. So I love this because it's super duper fluffy. Inside, there's a few different ways that it's been done in the comic books and stuff. With the way that he controls people, it's been anything from like a mist that he shoots out from his hat. It's always from his hat because he's the Mad Hatter, right? But lately in like New 52 stories and Rebirth stories, it's been an electronic device that sends out radio waves and stuff, and he gets to control people. And he's a master at it. Like, this is the technology that he excels at. And getting that extra victory point for this is amazing. Like, and you get to turn one of your opponent's henchmen or sidekicks into your own character. So you get to activate them the next time they activate, which is amazing. Like, it's so powerful. You can really take control of the board with this character in the area that he's in. because your opponent has to focus on him to be able to take him out. You have to watch out for leaders, because leaders get to reroll willpower checks. But other than that, this guy is great. So let's go on to reputation cost and funding. So he is reputation 75 with 0 funding because he is a leader. So no leader in the game is going to have funding cost, because they all drop to 0 if you make them your boss and stuff like that. So reputation 75. That is pretty sweet for what you get for this guy. This model does have a bit of a learning curve in being able to learn how to get that mind control device to work, and how to put him into specific places that he is not going to get beat up on or shot really hardcore. So as soon as you learn those things, 75 reputation is totally worth it, because that's how much other characters like Harley Quinn and Katana, they're both 75 points. 75 points is totally worth it for this guy. He's really worth it. And to be able to take him in a Secret 6 crew for 75 points, totally worth it, because you get those extra victory points every time you mind control somebody. It's just great stuff. So strengths and weaknesses for this guy. So let's go over strengths first. So I think his biggest strength is going to be objective control, because he can control objectives with both his 60 cal gun with push, and then he can also control objectives with mind control. So you can target characters that are sitting on objectives and control them, have them just walk away from the objective. You can also have them attack their own characters and get points that way. Just being able to control objectives with this guy the way he does it, that's probably his biggest strength. His weaknesses are going to be his mobility. He's pretty slow, but at least he has dodge, so he has that for him. So if somebody tries to come after him, he has those defenses in place, but he is slow, and he has the weak rule. So as soon as he takes any hits, he is going to turn into an almost useless model. Just protect him. In the Wonderland gang, you can take 3 bodyguards. So in the pack that he comes in, Tweedledee and Tweedledum are both bodyguards. And then you can also get the Blackgate prisoner, I think it's number 5, that is a bodyguard as well. Bodyguards are Mad Hatter's special friend. They are the things that you want around him if you take him in the Wonderland gang. The way I love playing him is in the Secret 6, and I have him, I run him just like I run Deadshot, where I keep him 10 centimeters behind somebody, and I usually actually keep that duo in the back and protect my opponent's objectives and keep them off of stuff, and use the Mad Hatter to do that. I don't use him super aggressively. I totally just try to control objectives. That is the way to play this guy. And in the Secret 6, because he's willpower 8, he is a great backup character to back up Strix, to back up Bane, to back up Catman. Totally works. I use him exactly like I use Deadshot in the Secret 6. And you can usually take 2 duos at 350 points. So I'll usually take Catman and Deadshot, and then Strix and Mad Hatter, and have Strix and Mad Hatter protect the backfield, and then have Deadshot and Catman go after my objectives. And then Mad Hatter can get you more victory points by just sitting in the backfield and mind controlling people. It's great. He's super effective at it. This is my paint job for the Mad Hatter. I really like the way this has come out. I really like painting these Batman miniatures because they're one-offs. I don't have to paint like squads at a time, and superhero characters, like comic book characters, they're all very individual and look super awesome. Got him with his cup of tea along with that giant hand cannon that he totes around with. I really like his green outfit. Came out really well. I love playing with this guy. Love seeing the way he looks on the battlefield, and look forward to seeing more battle reports with this guy. And remember, 'cause bad guys.